Hey, so welcome back to Mrs. Wizard's Way, and we're going to talk more about school. Let's get started. So I didn't know that this was such a popular topic with you guys, so I wanted to make sure I kind of did a follow-up and some of the things that I really miss, the good things that were in the classroom. The reasons I quit were definitely negative, but there's some things I really did miss. But before we get started, I really want to spend a few seconds just thanking everybody who bought my last batch of part works. They're fun to make. There's some examples of what they look like. They were a blast, and I got those shipped off. They went all over the country. Super happy for everybody who bought them. I have one more batch before Christmas I have ready to go. Just went live, so you might want to go check, see what's coming out. But they're my last batch I'm going to do for a while because I need to get ready for Christmas and I need to put the business to sleep for the year, which means I need to do a lot of paperwork and get things ready to go for 2024 with the business. And I can't do that and be working in the studio, shop. I'm not sure where I want to call that. So I need to work on getting a lot of that stuff done first, but I'll come back. I'm not done. It's too much fun to make them. So let's get back to actually the good parts of teaching, what I really missed. The last video was awfully sad and what I didn't like, but a lot of that resonated with so many people out there. And I wasn't at a gargantuan school, but I wasn't at a tiny itty bitty school either, rather more urban environment. And so we had different problems, but than what we would think of what Kansas would have. But it resonated with everybody from around the country, even the world. I saw lots of comments in the last video from all over the world. So those of you that are out there teaching or no teachers, you're not alone. We're all in this together. Well, you guys are. I'm no longer. But I have 5 things today, and one of them that I really miss is the socialization. I miss talking to some of the teachers that were at school. We know that not all of them were super great and fabulous, but you know what? They kind of avoided me because I didn't play by their rules. I didn't play by trying to, be mean, and I wasn't trying to, manipulate. I was doing the best I could and trying to really help the kids, which was the priority of teaching. Maybe not for them. So I really do miss having that time where I could talk to the teachers, being able to have lunch with some of my department. I miss that time. I also miss helping the kids, learning about different things and seeing their excitement and helping them with their lives. And, they really like to talk. They wanted somebody to listen to them. And I'd like to learn about them. So that was one thing I really do miss. The other thing is the friendships. You're like, socialization, friendship, they're different. When the hallway I was on, I was the only classroom on that hallway. There were others on branches off hallway, but I was on the main hallway. And lots of people walked by, but I didn't actually have that buddy teacher next door that I got to talk with. So talking to some adults was really great. And that's when that friendship part really comes in. So I really miss some of my close friends, especially in my department. As I said earlier, we have lunch with each other so we could just catch up on what's going on in our lives. It was nice because I was trying to help because they weren't there as long as I had been, and just some of those navigation things to do. Plus, the person I was having lunch with replaced me in my leadership role in my department. And so she had lots of questions. What do I do here? What do I do there? Can I do that? Yes, you can do this. Yes, yes, yes. So that was really, really good. Now, luckily, I have filled in some of that socialization with talking to the guys at the shop. The guys at the shop have been fabulous. So, checking in, they're helping me with my part works. What am I doing? What are they working on? What troubles do they have? New car comes in. What's wrong with it? What do you guess it is? We play the game with each other. So, those of you familiar with Wizard videos, we play the game of what's the problem? Yeah, we do that as well. So, that was been nice. But, if I had truly retired, and those of you that out there that truly retired, that could be a definite problem. You need to find a source of how are you going to socialize and have that time and friendship that you would no longer have when you leave your classroom. I also miss the friendships I made with select students. Not all of them. I didn't connect with every kid, just like you didn't connect with all of your teachers. I didn't connect with all of them, but you can think of that one favorite teacher you had, the one you really, really liked, and I had some of those. Every year I'd have a couple. I was always friendly with all the kiddos. Well, maybe not that one kiddo who was administratively placed in my classroom because he got caught selling drugs multiple times. Yeah, he wasn't as easy to get along with, but he didn't want to get along either. But I was still friendly with him. I woke him up at least 3 times a class period every day. He was wondering, why are you waking me up? I'm not doing anything. No, that's the point. You should be working. Go draw. That's what you're supposed to be doing, draw. No. So I do miss the friendships with the kiddos that I really connected with. Some of them really just latch onto you. Sometimes it's your personalities match, and so you have a similar sense of humor. Some of it is that they really like the subject matter. They really liked what I was teaching, and they love photography or they love graphic design. I can help with that, and we had that commonality as well. There's even one kiddo that we were already, good friends to begin with, but then when he learned that I was the wizard's wife, we were even more friends, so we'd have something different to talk about. But he's a great kiddo. He's graduating this year, so that's one of the things I always had to get used to. If I only had these kids a couple of years, so I was quite used to losing them after a few years. And so that part of that losing is not unfamiliar. I was kind of sad, excited to see them grow up and go off to college, but sad that they're not going to be, where I can see them in my classroom every day. The other thing I really like, number 3, is sharing my passions. I quite love photography, graphic design, and traditional art. That is what I do. Obviously, I shoot videos, so I do video editing as well. I didn't teach that the last few years, but I have. I really like teaching digital art. It's so much fun. The kids learn new techniques. I love that spark. Oh my gosh, I got it. Or this looks really good. Or I've got this idea. Yeah, I do miss that. I miss watching them just get better at the things I'm showing them. When I taught, I would tell them that I was like, hey, we're in this together. I know you're going to learn a whole bunch of new techniques, and you don't know how to do them, and nobody else here knows how to do them. Well, me, but they didn't know what to do. So I'm going to make sure you get through there and kind of do baby steps and progressively get harder and harder, so it doesn't seem like I'm just pushing them off the cliff and saying good luck. So that was kind of another thing. Another thing I love to share with them is I'm going to show you some cool tricks and some really fun, easy shortcuts. Who doesn't love an easy shortcut or some little tip or trick that, is really cool and awesome? Now, I kind of wonder though, as I'm, stepping back from the classroom and the infiltration of AI, I wonder what that's going to be like. Because now you can just say, well, I want a photograph of a polar bear on the moon juggling bowling balls. And AI can generate that for you. It's like, wow, I wonder what that's going to be like in the future. But I'm not going to have to worry too much about it in the teaching aspect. I'm just going to have to sit back and watch it like the rest of us. But that's going to be something different. The other thing I really miss is watching them grow up. I see them when they get to school as a 14-year-old, as a freshman in high school, until they get to be about 18 or so when they graduate as a senior. So I got those 4 years, and those 4 years, those kids change a whole lot. Now, I didn't teach many freshmen. I usually only had maybe 1 or 2 classes. I usually taught the sophomores through seniors. And just helping them navigate through high school, like what classes maybe they should take. Maybe filling out that, important documents like the FAFSA, or when to take the ACT. That's the common test we take in the Midwest, opposed to the SAT on the coasts. But how to, prepare for that, just some helpful ideas, applying for college, applying for scholarships. I kind of missed that, just kind of helping them, navigate through life. Because some of these kiddos, they had great support at home. Parents knew exactly what to do. They had their alma mater. They were going to go to, WSU, to K-State, to KU. They were going to go to one of those schools or going off to some other school that their family had been to for 100 years. They had it set. But there were a lot of kids who didn't have that experience, and they didn't know, what do I do next? What's the next step I need to do? And while there were people to help them, it doesn't hurt to have somebody else. The other thing I liked was helping with some of their problems, just letting them talk. So as you got to know the kiddos more, they're willing to talk to you a little bit more. Now, I never was a counselor. I never pretended to be a counselor. I just listened and gave them my opinion. And since we had that connection and they felt, willing to talk, sometimes they took it, sometimes they didn't. But, help and any advice is better than no advice. But I could easily spend more time with these kiddos in a day than their parents. And if you think about how much time you maybe have seen your kids, or, when you were a kid, how much time you saw your parents during a day, there's a chance you might have seen your teachers in a day more than you saw your parents. And so that kind of made it I was available. I was there to talk to. Plus, I wasn't maybe as judgmental as their parents, or maybe they weren't as afraid to ask those questions to the teacher rather than to the parents, afraid of how the parents might react. So it was kind of nice to have that ability to connect with the kids. The last one I have is their excitement to learn those cool things. Now, as most teachers do, we have a cool assignment or 2 or 3, that you're like, oh, do you remember this assignment when you were a kid where, in this class we're going to do this, and maybe it was a science class, you're going to, do the Mentos, the candy into the pop and let it explode, or you're making volcanoes, or you're going to do some assignment where you get to maybe go to a field trip, go see something cool. I had several assignments that were just fun. And it was really interesting. Kids would come back to me, from a previous year and say, hey, what are you guys doing in that class? Hey, did they got to that assignment yet? They were still excited about that assignment and how much they liked it and learned about it. But the last couple of years, that even waned. After COVID, there was a lot of kind of just apathy. They just weren't as excited about the assignments. I would try, I'd be like, hey, we're going to work on this. Normally the kids are like, yay. They were like, okay, we'll do it. That's the next assignment. I need the grade. Okay, next assignment, need the grade. Even when money was involved, you're like, money? Well, I was an art teacher. We had contests sometimes, maybe like a logo contest for a local business. What came to us and said, hey, we'll offer you, the winner, $50 or something, pizza party. Didn't even make a difference. It was sad. I was just kind of like, come on, guys, let's get excited about it. There was 1 or 2 kiddos in the class that were really into, hey, I'm going to do this and do this well, and I'll, win. But it was kind of like, have some emotion. So that's kind of one thing I miss. I miss it for me, and I missed it for them as well. So those are my 5 things that I really miss in my classroom. Some of them I've replaced with different things, but some of them I just can't replace. They're just going to be gone forever. I'm going to have to learn new ways to, keep my time and find excitement and energy in what I do currently. I guess making part works, which again, remember, that link is in the description below if you would like to check out those part works. But hopefully, you found something good in the video, but I'll see you guys again next week. Bye.